Welcome everyone, Noah here. This is my 8th edition of my Dynamics Weekly newsletter and podcast with a focus on news relating to Microsoft Dynamics 365, AX, GP, NAV, and SL. And I do focus mainly on financial reporting, budgeting, forecasting, and analysis, but hey, every once in a while I do throw in a few different topics in the podcast sessions. For instance, happy St. Patrick's Day. So that is this Monday is all a big party for everybody. I don't think anybody officially has it off from work in the U.S. except maybe around Boston and such. But happy St. Patrick's Day. I used to go to Savannah, Georgia every year for St. Patrick's Day. Go there, hang out with my friends over there, go to the parades, and have a great time over there by the riverfront in Savannah. Love that little town there. My last trip though to Savannah was the year of COVID. That was 2020, I think. It seems like forever ago. And I do remember that I flew up there, had a great weekend. People were you're hearing about COVID on the news a lot. And then when I left Savannah to fly back home to Pensacola, I had to fly through Atlanta. And the Atlanta airport was the emptiest I had ever seen it my entire life. And I've been flying tons of flights through Atlanta's airport for 20 plus years. So it was the most emptiest airport I've ever seen. Was that COVID year, and it was really spooky. I remember it. Just walking from one gate to another, hardly anybody there. Last week, I did mention that I was going to go to the opera. That fell through. Plans changed, so I did not make it to the opera. But hey, I want to let you know that if you get a chance to go to opera, go. I'm a big fan of it. The one here in Pensacola, great building and great cast and crew and support team that goes in it and brings in these huge theatrical events for everybody here. And, I never thought that I would enjoy opera. In fact, when I went to my first opera at another city, I watched it and I hated it. I could not stand that opera that I went to. And I was going to just not see any more of it, didn't care about it. But then I told myself, like a couple of days later, that I can't judge all of it just by that one show. So I booked another performance later on, maybe the next year, I think, at the Pensacola Sanger Theater. Watched it, had a great time, and ever since then, I love going to the opera. So it's a great thing. I challenge you, go out there if you get a chance, just catch a show one Friday night or one matinee on Sunday, and at least see what it's like. All right, we have a lot of different topics in this edition for St. Patrick's Day's release. I have got a date set up for a Prospero financial reporting and budgeting demo. I'll mention that for you in just a little bit. Started an article, does Dynamics 365 F&O still use Management Reporter? Started that, and I'll bring you into the conversation about that product. Have an update on the new trial site started for a client who came to us struggling with financial statements in Dynamics 365 BC. I also last week I attended a webinar on 365 BC's out of the box financial reporting features. So I'll give you an update on how that session went. We have training sites coming up for April. We're already halfway through March. Time sure does fly. So we've got that open up for the April trial sites. I'll mention our Dynamic Communities Academy classes, how my work with AI is going, and our June training class updates, registrations, and dates for those classes. All right, let me start off with our date for that Prospero Financial Reporting and Budgeting General Overview demonstration. That's going to be for April 28th. So towards the end of the month there, before you actually get heavy into the month end close, maybe that gives you a little time before you start those tasks there. I believe it's a Monday afternoon about 1 o'clock Central. And the topics I cover, financial reporting, budgeting, and forecasting. For financial reporting, we'll look at report generation, drill down to account and transaction level details, summarizing drill down by any company, segments, or dimensions, numeric and graphical analysis of report data, and report distribution options. For budgeting, during that same webinar, we'll look at main input screens, including line item detail entries and notes, human resource budgeting, capital budgeting, history of budget changes, budget and statistical accounts used to calculate balances, and my favorite, instant consolidations. And we'll look at forecasting a little bit as well, using the built-in copy plan wizards to copy data from a source budget or forecast to a new budget and forecast, and actually including actuals just by changing the date. So a lot of great topics to look at that 1 hour or less demonstration of Prospero financial reporting and budgeting. That's on the 28th of April, and we're using GoToWebinar. So on the newsletter on LinkedIn, I've got the link there for registration. And I'll put that in the comment section as well. All right, next let's talk about my new article I started on Dynamics 365 F&O financial reporting. So I saw a post last week in one of the community sites about using a third-party financial reporting tool since Management Reporter went away, which it really hasn't gone away. I kind of felt like the post might have been a plant or a fake post by some other software company trying to push their product, but I still wanted to add my comments to kind of clear up any misunderstanding about what Microsoft did when they went from AX to 365 F&O for financial reporting. And so when they moved between products, they really did keep the functionality of Management Reporter inside F&O. So when you log into F&O, you can go to the financial statements. You can run any of the statements that are already there under financial reports or financial reporting. If you want to edit those report definitions or make new ones, that is an application in F&O as well. It does download the piece or the application that lets you do that functionality, editing reports, making new reports, but it opens up in a browser kind of window for you. It's not a complete local install, and it's really a version of Management Reporter they brought forward. So they brought most of the functionality of Management Reporter over to F&O in this piece here. They really just dropped the name Management Reporter, although I did see when they first rolled it out, they still had Management Reporter mentioned specifically in certain places like the help files and such. And yes, they did lose some functionality, like you can't link to data in Excel spreadsheets. I think in F&O you have a problem consolidating between multiple companies into a single financial statement. But the majority of building those financial statements and maintaining them, running those, are in F&O's financial reporting option. So you do have that option. It comes with F&O. Pretty much identical to Management Reporter. So don't let anybody tell you that it's not there, because that is there. It does have a little bit less functionality, which Microsoft really has a problem when they roll out a new application. I don't know if it's new developers or just trying to save time and money or what the deal is, but they always seem to drop a little functionality from one version to the new version. So, but it's there. So the majority is there. It's built. Management Reporter is tailored for accountants, so they can build their own reports and maintain those reports without knowing a different like programming language. It's really tailored for the accountants. If you need help with that, let me know. I've been working with Management Reporter since Microsoft rolled it out. I was a Microsoft employee back in those days when that happened, so I was there from the very beginning. All right, over to 365 Business Central financial reporting. So, quick update on the trial site. We were setting it for a client who was switching from from SL over to BC. They did that last year. They struggled with their financial statements. They brought us in towards the end of February to set them up a trial site to proof out the financials using our product, Prospero Financial Reporting and Budgeting. So we started that process at the end of February. We've had some hiccups. Right now, where we are is the BC team has added dimensions back into the chart of accounts, but they have not yet mapped out the actuals to go to those new dimensions. So we're waiting for the BC team to load those actuals and back into BC so that we can start running the reports that we've got out there ready and waiting in Prospero. So it's just on hold right now. I'm hoping they'll come up with that data any day now, maybe even today. I'll go back and check it later. So that is where we are with that client that switched from SL over to BC, and they've been struggling with financials ever since. All right, last week I did attend a webinar on BC's financial reporting options. It was an out of the box financial reporting options in Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. It was about less than an hour, a really good presentation. But when I look back at what I expect for a financial reporting tool and what BC offers, I still see a lot lacking in the BC application. There's so many things lacking. In fact, I would not even use the financial reporting piece of BC, not even to pull data out into Excel or anything else. I would skip it. Some things that just jump out at you for that application. You can't generate a single report definition and have it give you multiple reports at the same time. So you can't have an income statement and tell it to run automatically for 5 different departments and give you 5 different income statements at one time. You'd have to run each one separately, pick the different departments at the time, and do that whole process. If you've got 5 departments, that's easy. But I have clients that have 50 to over 100 departments. So there's no way they could do that process. Absolutely impossible for them. Account details. You cannot run a report in BC in the financial reporting piece and get all the account details for the balances, all the account numbers, what departments those balances are posted to, what locations, any other dimensions those balances are posted to. You can't get it. You cannot get one page that has everything in detail. You can even run a report. You cannot run a report that has that detail and pushes it out to Excel. It just does not have that functionality. Your only option is inside BC. Click on a balance and drill back into the details behind that balance, one at a time. It is really a huge uh, uh, um, letdown for getting back to the account details for those balances. Summarizing balances between multiple departments into a single report seems really difficult and not easy at all to change. So let's say that you want to run a income statement for the summary of 5 different departments. You just want one page, one income statement that has the balances added together from those 5 different departments. You can't do it. There's Unless you go into the column definition and you have the columns set up for those 5 different departments. Maybe they still show, maybe you hide those and you have a calculated column that adds all those together. That would give you a summary of those 5 departments and one on one page. So that's doable. But let's say you do that for the monthly balances, then you've got to do the same thing if you want to have the year-to-date version of that or quarterly versions of those. All those extra columns in that column definition are separate column definitions for separate reports altogether. And if you want to, have a different set of departments added together, you've got to go back into the column definition and change that column definition or have a whole new one. It's just too difficult to do the process if you have a lot of departments. And if you are in the column definitions, another thing that just bewilders me is how to reference what period though each column pulls data from. And there's not drop down lists or things that help you on that column definition page to help you sort out what everything should be. You have to know codes and type those codes in to that column definition to pick what period each column should pull back from. Should it be the current period? Should it be the last period? Should it be year to date balances? Should it be last year's balances? Is it some kind of formula off of a period? I've got in my newsletter, the text version, some codes that I copied from Microsoft about how to tell it which column pulls what data into each column. So, I mean, there's no drop down lists, there's no lookup options. You have to know these codes and type those in order to get it. And yeah, once you start using the application a lot and you know the codes, that's great. You know it. But if you're brand new to it, you have no idea. And it has not shown me yet that it's easy to learn. I think I'm really thinking about putting together a webinar showing you the differences between what Management Reporter used to do and what BC's current financial reporting piece does and can't do. I just think that people need to know it because I see Microsoft pushing out marketing material promoting financial reporting. And then I see all the partners putting that in their newsletters promoting BC's financial reporting features. And it's crap. It just does not work. So I'll probably get sued by Microsoft for that, but hey, I'm going to look at that. If you want to be included in that webinar, love to have you join me. Watch for that. I'll have a link eventually in my newsletter for that on LinkedIn. Trial sites for Prospero. We offer 30-day trial sites for clients that are interested in seeing how their reporting and or their budgeting might look inside Prospero. So we set that up for you. You can use our demo data, or even better, we can hook up to your GL system, your chart of accounts, your calendars, your account balances and transaction level details, and set up those trial sites. All for free, no obligation. We'll give you a free quote. If you like it when it's all said and done, it's easy for us to take that Prospero database and roll it from the trial site over to a production site for you. And if you are interested in at least seeing how it might look for your company, just let me know. Send me a comment, email, or use that book an appointment link in LinkedIn for me. Academy classes. This is for October 2025 for our summit. This is down in Orlando. And right now we have two classes that we're going to be teaching. That is going to be Management Reporter on the 18th of October. It's a Saturday. It's the weekend before summit actually starts. And then our second class, which are separate, same kind of topics, but it's the 365 financial reporting application, which would be used for F&O, and that's the Sunday on the 19th. So both of those classes, the Saturday and the Sunday, they are all day, 8 to 5 o'clock, hands-on with a live instructor. One of us will be down there with you, walking you through exercises, building reports from scratch, trial balance statements, income statements, consolidated income statements, forecasted reports. So a lot of things that we put into that full day class for Management Reporter and for F&O's financial reporting class. And we do offer online training classes, but some people just prefer the classroom environment. And if you're one of those people, this is a great opportunity for you to do that because we really only offer the classroom training environments once a year at the summit. So consider signing up for those at summitna.com and look for us there. The Management Reporter class is tagged for GP, but it really applies to GP users as well as AX users and SL users. So don't let the GP tag just scare you away. It's for all three of those, AX, GP, and SL. All right, how is my work with AI going? So Not so much progress. I am using this, uh, the Microsoft Copilot AI agent, in the Microsoft Office applications. I use it a lot in Word or PowerPoint. It helped me to at least start marketing materials. But as far as using AI to help me build financial statements or set up and use it for budgeting purposes or forecasting purposes, I have not found a good fit for AI yet. So I'm just going to take this whole section about the AI piece out of my newsletter, off the podcast. I will bring it back if I eventually find something that works for me. And if you've got an idea of some kind of AI agent that you think fixes financial reporting, budgeting, and forecasting for us, let me know. I'll be glad to explore it. So far, not much luck on my side for that. Training classes. We have closed the dates for March. Thank you everybody joining us for those. We've set up new dates for June. Those are going to be on June 17th, 18th, and 19th. And the class registration for those three classes will go through June 1st. So we'll have links for GoToWebinar for any of those three classes for you to sign up. On June 17th, that is going to be for Management Reporter, Report Building Basics. And we go through like 4 chapters: building reports from scratch, trial balance statements, income statements, reporting trees. So if you've never used Management Reporter, it's a great tool, a great training class for you to learn the application there. It's all led online by one of us here at MSX Group. We'll provide the step-by-step instructions in PDF documents to work your way through these exercises. If you get stuck, we'll be right there with you to help you sort through it. And that Management Reporter class, that is good for users of AX, GP, or SL, any of those three. On June 18th, we have the Dynamics 365 F&O Financial Reporting class. Very similar reports that we build in that class. Trial balance statements, income statements, using reporting trees, because that application is pretty much identical to Management Reporter. There are differences. That's why we split those up. And this one only applies to users of Dynamics 365 F&O, not the BC users and not anybody before 365. So that is June 18th. And then on June 19th, we have Prospero Financial Reporting. Again, hands-on exercises led by one of us online. Building reports from scratch, trial balance reports, income statements, generating departmental location income statements, forecasted income statements. We'll guide you through the process, and it's great for you to learn the application. It does not cover budgeting or forecasting, although we'll be glad to talk about those topics if you want to. This class, though, is focused on financial reporting using Prospero. And Prospero is available for pretty much any ERP solution out there. And it's for all the dynamic solutions: AX, GP, SL, NAV, and 365 Business Central, and F&O. So if you are using any of those, Prospero Financial Reporting can be used for your financial statements. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for this podcast today. Glad you could make it back. And welcome to my new listeners here. It is St. Patrick's Day, so I want to wish you a safe and happy St. Patrick's Day. Have a good time and get some work done while you're at it. All right. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you next week.